Barbara Barrett. As a preliminary matter, I must address Ms. Barrett. Ms. Barrett, the charges in this case, ma'am, how do you plead?
I plead not guilty by reason of insanity by matters of insanity.
Not guilty by reason of insanity. Very good. All right, the state may deliver its opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I am here to represent the state and Mr. Barrett. Mr. Barrett was a loving stepfather, a kind husband, a hardworking man. He was a fellow attorney and a partner-in-law of Barrett and Williams. The night Mr. Barrett was killed was like any other night. Why should he fear death on this particular night? Mr. Barrett came home. He had a conversation with his wife. He ate dinner. After that, he went to the living room and sat down. Then, he felt the painful sting of a bullet entering his body. He tried to get away as he walked slowly towards the dining room, where he came to rest, as his wife of 10 years stood over his dead body. Today, the plaintiff has 3 witnesses to help us in this case: the pathologist, Joe Armey, Officer C.M. Cheney, and the housemaid. In Joe May's report, he found 5 gunshot wounds to Mr. Barrett's body. One in particular was fired at a 45-degree angle. In C.M. Cheney's report, Officer Cheney would testify to motive and means. The motive is a love letter that John wrote to Tootsie, and that Mr. Barrett was going to get a divorce so he could go be with Tootsie. The means is a gun, a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol, and 6 spent rounds for that gun. In Lee's testimony, she not only heard the Barretts arguing about the divorce, she saw Mr. Barrett limping into the dining room. The defense was saying many things to try and scatter the evidence like a fog, but today we will give you enough evidence for you to walk through that fog and convict Barbara Barrett of murder. Thank you.
For the defense.
Your Honor, members of the jury, and opposing counsel, my name is Brandon Stevens, and I'll be giving the opening statement for the defendants. My co-counsel members are Abigail Wanchop and Daniel Fulton. Your Honor, this case is about a verbally and physically abused woman who, after years of abuse from her often drunk husband, finally lost her mind. Barbara Allen Barrett and John Walker Barrett were married for 9 years. Those 9 years were speckled with countless beatings and extreme cycles of battery. But Barbara Barrett still wanted to see her husband as the kind, loving, and affectionate man that she had once married. But throughout the 9 years, there were many problems with the relationship. John Walker Barrett was coming home late, which concerned Barbara. Your Honor, Barbara Barrett Your Honor, Barbara Barrett still relied on her husband. But on the night of December 18, 1988, John Walker Barrett came home and greeted his wife with, I want a divorce, Barbara. Now you know I'm leaving tonight. Our first witness will be Barbara Allen Barrett. She will explain what happened on the night of December 18, 1988. She'll explain her actions and feelings. Also, she'll explain her husband's actions and feelings on that night. Our second witness will be Dan McGuire. He will explain why Barbara Barrett is considered a battered woman, why her actions can be seen as a battered woman. Your Honor, I ask for a not guilty plea by reason of insanity. I would also like to remind the jury that the burden of proof falls upon the prosecution to prove Barbara Barrett guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Prosecution, you can call your first witness.
The prosecution calls Joe May, Your Honor.
And remind us who you are and who you're playing, please.
My name is Lexi Botter, and I will be playing Joe Armey.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat, please. You may proceed.
Your Honor, may I enter Prosecution Exhibit 9, which is a blow-up of the body diagram?
Please show it to the defense, and we'll see if there's any objection. Any objection to the admission of this exhibit?
There are no objections, Your Honor.
We'll label that as, what's it identified as?
Prosecution 9.
Prosecution Exhibit 9 will be admitted without objection. You may proceed.
What is your job?
I am a pathologist.
And how long have you been a pathologist?
16 years.
Can you please state your name? Can you please tell us who you are employed by?
Milton County.
How many gunshot wounds were there?
There were 5 found in the body.
Using the blow-up, could you please describe where the gunshot wounds were?
Sure. One of the shots was found in the left arm, and it entered through the front and out the back. There was one found in the right leg, and this was shot through the back and exited out the front. There was 2 found in the back, and those both entered from the back, and then there was one found in the cranium.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I enter Prosecution Exhibit 1, which is the gross description?
You can show that to the defense. Any objection to the admission of that?
There are no objections.
What's it identified as?
Prosecution Exhibit 1.
Prosecution Exhibit 1 is admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you find powder marks?
No, there was no powder marks apparent.
Are there any former abnormalities to the deceased cranial cavity?
No.
What gunshot wound was the cause of death?
The one that was found in the cranium
What would be the path of the bullet fired in the deceased cranial cavity?
was fired at a 45-degree angle.
Your Honor, may Dr. May give her best physical demonstration of this angle?
She may. You may stand up as you need.
And thank you, Your Honor. Dr. May, staying in this position, is it possible for you to tell me what position the deceased's body would have been in?
He might have been lying on the ground, face down.
Thank you, Your Honor. No more questions.
For the defense, any questions?
So let me get this straight. In your direct exam, you said that John Walker Barrett was shot in the right leg, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down. The Commonwealth or the prosecution may call us the next witness, please.
The prosecution calls Officer Cheney, Your Honor.
Please tell us who you are and who you're playing, please.
I'm Ben Emmerich, and in the case, I'm Officer CMG.
Do you swear or affirm, sir, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may have a seat.
Your Honor, may I enter Prosecution Exhibit 2, which is the witness statement of Officer Cheney?
Put that to the prosecution, or to the defense, excuse me. Any objection to its admission?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution Exhibit 2 will be admitted without objection.
How long have you been at your job?
About 7 years.
Do you have a degree?
Yes, I have a degree in criminal justice from South Bend College.
Have you received an advanced degree?
No, but I have 9 hours towards my advanced degree in criminal justice.
Have you had experience with homicide before?
Yes, during my time in the police department, I responded to numerous homicides.
Have you been trained in any specific way?
I've been trained to preserve physical evidence at the scene of a crime and to take measurements of physical proximities and to interview witnesses, including suspects.
Thank you. Your Honor, can Officer Cheney be treated as an expert witness?
You may.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may we prosecute the defense?
Or dear, you may do so.
Your Honor, the defense believes that 7 years of serving as an officer is not sufficient. Also, the defense has found many inconsistencies and errors in his police report and witness statement.
Well, the length of service may not be enough, but I will allow you to ask additional questions to see if the officer has served under cases involving similar conditions that would qualify him to render expert opinion testimony in this case. So you may ask the officer those questions.
So, have you had experience with homicide before?
Yes, during my 7 years, I have had numerous occasions to be called to the scene of a homicide.
And similarities to this case, gunshot wounds, use of guns, something that would show that this officer has more knowledge of this situation than somebody else might.
You recognized what gun was used at the scene crime, correct?
Yes.
At this point, I will overrule the objection and allow the officer to render expert opinion testimony in this case. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I also enter Prosecution Exhibit 3, which is the details of the offense?
Any objection to the admission of Prosecution Exhibit 3?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution Exhibit 3 admitted without objection.
And lastly, Your Honor, may I enter Prosecution Exhibit 10, which is a globe of the house diagram?
Any objection to Prosecution Exhibit 10?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution Exhibit 10 admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Cheney, what were you doing on the night of December 18, 1988?
I was patrolling.
And what brought you to the Barrett's house?
I was a dispatcher.
Did you locate Miss Barrett? And if so, where did you find her?
After I came to the crime scene, I was able to locate Mrs. Barrett in the downstairs bathroom.
During the time you were with her, did she say anything odd?
She did say things like, "I didn't mean to hurt John. Why did you have to hurt me so?"
And did you ask her about this statement?
I did ask her if her husband had threatened her in any way prior to the shooting, and she said they did not.
Using the diagram, could you please point to what evidence you found?
Yes. Coming into the entrance of the house, I found a briefcase, and next to sofa number 1, I found on an end table there was a glass of wine half full with red lipstick marks. Next to that end table, there was an envelope ripped open with the word Tootsie on it. Between the two sofas, there was a coffee table, and on that table there was a glass of scotch. I found a man's jacket and a belt. The jacket was similar in material to the pants which were found on the deceased. I found bloodstains leading from sofa number 2 into the dining room to where the deceased came to rest. Next to the deceased, there was a letter and there was a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I enter Prosecution Exhibit 8?
So that's the sentence. Any objection to the admission of Prosecution Exhibit 8?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution Exhibit 8 admitted without objection.
Did you read Miss Barrett her Miranda rights?
I do not specifically recall, but out of a matter of routine, I do make it a habit to tell witnesses their
And the evidence I just have given you, could you please tell the court what that was?
This was the letter found next to the deceased.
And who is it addressed to?
Tootsie.
What is John? Who was it from?
John.
And reading that, do you have any idea what John was saying?
He said that he loved Tootsie and that he wanted to marry her.
Thank you, Your Honor. No more questions.
Questions for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Were you the officer on the scene of crime in December
Yes.
1980?
Yes.
Were you riding with a partner in December 1980?
No.
Is it customary for you to ride with a partner?
Yes.
On December 1988 was a Sunday. You were patrolling that day, correct?
Yes.
Okay. However, your days of work are Tuesday through Saturday, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall a private door in the Barrett's house? You may refer to the diagram.
No.
There's no such door in your diagram, correct?
No.
Okay, so there's no such door in the Barrett's house?
I don't think so.
Okay. When you inspected the scene of crime, you found a Smith & Wesson gun, correct?
Yes.
Did you submit this article into evidence?
I believe so.
Why does it not